The sound of Yin's hurried footsteps echoed through the grand corridor of Seoul University's Faculty of Economics. Her expensive branded bag swayed in rhythm with her brisk pace. Today was the day the microeconomics exam results would be posted, and Yin couldn't wait to see them. Hopefully, this time I can beat that arrogant Nara, she muttered, smoothing down her shiny, long hair. The moment she entered the classroom, her eyes immediately darted to the notice board. The grade list was already posted, and as usual, the top 2 names were the same, Park Yin and Kim Nara. This time, Yin smiled in satisfaction. Her name sat in first place with a score of 98, while Nara was second with a 96. Yes, Yin whispered, clenching her fist in triumph. Don't get too happy just yet, Park Yin. The shrill voice made Yin turn her head. Nara stood behind her, her face flushed and her eyes glassy with irritation. The pretty bob-haired girl was clearly furious, clutching her Hermes bag tightly. Only a 2-point difference, Nara. No need to be so dramatic, Yin said casually, glancing at her phone. 2 points matter a lot. Professor Kim will think you're smarter than me, Nara shouted in frustration. Yin let out a long sigh. It had been almost a semester, yet her rivalry with Nara never ended. Both of them came from conglomerate families, Yin from a real estate empire, Nara from a banking dynasty. Perhaps that explained why they were equally stubborn and unwilling to back down. Listen, Nara, I've never been your enemy. Can't we compete fairly? Yin tried to make peace. Compete fairly? Nara scoffed sarcastically. You think I don't know? You must have studied like crazy just to beat me. Or maybe, you cheated? Hey, watch your mouth. Yin's eyes flared. I studied honestly. Oh really? Prove it if. Too noisy. That deep, cold baritone silenced the entire room. All eyes turned toward the tall figure who had just entered. Jungkook, the handsome bad boy feared and admired by everyone on campus. His slightly messy black hair gave him the perfect rebel vibe. The black leather jacket only added to his intimidating aura. His face was striking, sharp jawline, piercing dark eyes, and a straight nose, but his expression was always flat and icy, like carved stone. If you want to fight, do it somewhere else. You're loud, he said again, sliding into his favorite seat at the very back. Yin and Nara immediately fell silent. Who would dare talk back to Jungkook? He was notorious for hitting anyone who annoyed him, male or female. His troublemaker reputation was well known across campus. Sorry, Jungkook, Nara mumbled nervously, though a flicker of delight crossed her face at being acknowledged by him. Yin, on the other hand, stayed frozen before heading to her desk. But as she walked past Jungkook's seat, she accidentally glanced over and saw him, covering his nose. Again? Why does he always do that whenever I walk by? Yin thought sadly. It wasn't the first time she'd seen Jungkook cover his nose when she passed. It had happened multiple times in the library, in the hallways, even in the cafeteria. Yin was starting to feel insecure. Do I smell? But I always wear expensive perfume and shower twice a day. Maybe his taste in perfume is just ridiculously high, she sighed inwardly, sitting at her desk with a gloomy expression. A week later, Yin was sitting alone in the library, reading her international economics book. This place had always been her favorite spot to study, quiet, comfortable, and far from any noise. Excuse me, is this seat taken? Yin looked up and nearly choked on her drink. Minju, one of Jungkook's close friends, was standing beside her with a friendly smile. The tall guy, with his sweet and approachable demeanor, was such a stark contrast to Jungkook. Oh please, Yin said, shifting slightly to make room. Thanks, you're Yin, right? The one who's always ranked first in microeconomics. Yeah, you know me. Minju chuckled. Who doesn't know the genius Park Yin? Even Jungkook often. He suddenly stopped mid-sentence. Often what? Yin asked curiously. Nothing. Forget it. Minju shook his head quickly, opening his book. Yin grew even more curious, but didn't dare press further. Amid the silence, she caught a whiff of a familiar scent, Jungkook's perfume. Her heart skipped a beat. Sure enough, he appeared from behind the bookshelf, his face as unreadable as ever. His eyes flicked toward Yin's table, and he frowned. Minju, why are you sitting there? He asked coldly. Studying, bro. Why? Minju replied innocently. Jungkook didn't answer, but Yin could feel his sharp gaze, and once again, as he walked past her, he covered his nose. Oh my god, do I really smell bad? Yin almost cried inwardly. Yin, what perfume are you wearing? Minju suddenly asked after Jungkook walked away. Chanel No. 5. Why? It smells amazing, totally suits you. Yin gave a faint smile. Thanks, but someone doesn't seem to like it, she muttered, glancing at Jungkook, now seated at the farthest corner of the room, as if he were deliberately avoiding her, or rather, avoiding her smell. Huh? Who wouldn't like an expensive perfume like that? I thought everyone loved it. Minju looked puzzled. Yeah, nobody. Forget it. Yin turned her attention back to her book, but her thoughts kept drifting toward Jungkook. What's wrong with that guy? She grumbled inwardly. I change perfumes all the time, but he still covers his nose whenever I walk by. Does he think my taste in perfume is terrible? The questions kept echoing in her head, refusing to leave. On Wednesday morning, the atmosphere in the international economics class was tense. Professor Lee had just announced that there would be a group presentation next week, and the grade would have a major impact on the final semester results. As usual, you're free to form your own groups, maximum of 4 people per group, said Professor Lee. Yin immediately panicked. She didn't have a close circle of friends in this class. Her closest friend was Mina, but Mina was absent today due to illness. Meanwhile, the rest of the students had already started forming groups. Yin's eyes flicked to Nara, who was already surrounded by her socialite friends. Yin, want to join us? Yin turned and saw Jaehyun, one of Jungkook's friends, smiling at her. Beside him, Minju also gave a friendly grin. Can I? You guys don't mind? Yin asked hesitantly. Of course not. Actually, it's great. We need someone smart like you, Minju replied. So, who's the 4th member? Yin asked curiously. Jungkook. Yin froze instantly. In the same group as Jungkook, what if he kept covering his nose every time she was near? Oh, sorry, I'm not really comfortable since you're all guys. Huh? Minju and Jaehyun looked confused, clearly finding her excuse odd. Meanwhile, Yin cursed herself inwardly for coming up with such a lame reason. The truth was, she didn't mind being in an all-male group as long as they could work well together. The real problem was Jungkook, as Yin was still trying to figure out what to do. Yin called Lisa, one of her classmates, making Yin turn her head instantly. Come join me instead. I'm still just with Rose. Relieved, Yin quickly walked over to Lisa and Rose. Thank you. You're real lifesavers. How about we add Mina as our 4th member? She's absent today. Sure, that works, Lisa and Rose replied together. Meanwhile, without Yin's knowledge, Nara was glaring at her from a distance. A faint smile curved on the bob-haired girl's lips, though her eyes burned with jealousy. She didn't like seeing Yin being invited to join Jaehyun and Minju's group. It wasn't that she cared about the group presentation. Grades weren't a big deal for Nara, since she always had her ways to look good in front of professors. What truly bothered her was the fact that Yin was starting to get attention from people within Jungkook's circle. No way. Yin must not get a chance to get close to Jungkook, Nara muttered inwardly, her fingers tightening around her bag on her lap. She was already annoyed that Yin always came out on top in academics, and now, there was a chance Yin might get acquainted with Jungkook's friends. That was absolutely unacceptable. Still, Nara felt a bit relieved when she saw Yin choose to join Lisa and Rose instead. She had even overheard Yin saying she wasn't comfortable being in an all-male group. A cynical smile spread across Nara's face. Good, stay away from them, Park Yin, especially from Jungkook. When class ended, Nara walked out, glancing briefly at Jungkook, who sat casually in the back row, fiddling with his phone without caring about anything around him. The more Nara saw Jungkook's indifference, the stronger her desire grew to be the only girl he paid attention to. And one thing was clear in her mind, she would never let Yin get in her way. 1 week later, the atmosphere in the international economics class was tense. Professor Lee stood at the front, holding the list of groups scheduled to present that day. Alright, let's start with Park Yin's group, Professor Lee announced. Yin walked to the front with Mina, Lisa, and Rose. They presented their topic on foreign exchange rate and trade balance. The presentation went smoothly, the slides were neat, and Yin's explanations were clear and confident. When the Q&A session began, Nara immediately raised her hand, her expression sharp. If the J-curve effect theory is correct, how do you explain cases where currency depreciation actually worsens the trade deficit in the long run? Isn't your theory a bit too simplistic? It was a tough question. Several students looked confused, but Yin answered calmly. Thank you, Nara. The J-curve effect explains the short-term impact of currency depreciation. However, if the trade deficit worsens in the long run, it indicates deeper structural issues, such as dependence on imported raw materials or weak export competitiveness. So our theory isn't simplistic. We also considered the Marshall-Lerner condition to measure export-import elasticity. Yin's answer made some students nod in admiration, but Nara still wouldn't let it go. That's still way too textbook, Yin. The real world isn't that simple, Nara retorted sharply. Whispers spread around the room, and the tension rose. Can we please keep it down? This is a classroom, not a marketplace, Professor Lee scolded sternly. And for the record, Yin's answer is correct. You can read Krugman's 2022 paper if you don't believe me. Nara fell silent, her face sour, her mood ruined. The presentation ended with polite applause. As Yin walked back to her seat, Nara, still fuming and sitting near the aisle, suddenly stood up at just the right moment. With a smooth motion, she accidentally bumped Yin hard enough to push her backward. The entire class held its breath. Everyone was ready to witness a massive outburst, because everyone knew he hated being disturbed, especially by girls who tried too hard to get his attention. Nara even smiled in satisfaction, already imagining Yin being humiliated in front of everyone. Yin had landed right on someone's lap. She felt the body beneath her tense, and a familiar masculine scent hit her nose. Oh no, don't tell me. She slowly turned her head and nearly fainted. Her eyes locked directly with Jungkook's wide, startled gaze. Yin's face instantly burned red. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Yin panicked and tried to stand up, but Jungkook's hand suddenly wrapped around her waist. The whole class froze. This was it. The moment they had been waiting for. Jungkook would surely blow up and yell at Yin. Some students even shut their eyes, unwilling to see Yin get scolded or worse, shoved away on the spot. But what happened next stunned everyone. Jungkook slowly leaned closer to Yin's cheek. His warm breath brushed against her skin, making her shiver. You smell amazing, he whispered softly in her ear. Choo. Jungkook planted a gentle kiss on Yin's cheek, then moved lower, brushing his lips carefully against her neck. He inhaled deeply. I really love how you smell, he murmured against her ear. The entire class erupted in chaos. Several girls screamed in disbelief. Jungkook, what the hell is he doing? Nara was completely shocked. Bro, what the hell? Minju even shot up from his seat. Yin herself went completely blank. Her brain couldn't process what had just happened. Jungkook kissed her in public? The guy who always covered his nose whenever she walked past. Jungkook, her voice trembled. Professor Lee, who had been silent in shock, finally snapped back to reality and cleared his throat loudly. Jungkook, Yin, what on earth are you two doing in my class? Jungkook blinked back to awareness and immediately released her. Yin quickly stood and rushed back to her seat, her face scarlet red. Sorry, Prof. Accident, Jungkook said flatly, as if nothing had happened. But Yin still caught a glimpse of Jungkook's ears, bright red at the tips. After class ended, Yin hurried outside. She needed fresh air to calm her racing heart. But just as she stepped out of the building, someone grabbed her hand. Yin, wait. That voice. Yin turned and saw Jungkook standing behind her. He looked awkward, scratching the back of his neck. What is it? Yin stammered. About what happened earlier. I'm sorry, I lost control, Jungkook said quietly, his gaze lowered. Yin stayed silent, still trying to process everything. But Jungkook lifted his head and met her eyes. What I said back there, I meant it. Which part? I like how you smell. Yin's face turned crimson again. But you're always covering your nose when I walk by. I thought you hated it. Jungkook paused, then gave a faint smile, the first one Yin had ever seen from him. It's because I like it too much. I'm afraid I'll lose control. Huh? Your perfume, your shampoo, even your natural scent. It makes me want to. Jungkook stopped, a faint blush creeping up his cheeks. I want to do what I did earlier. Yin froze. So, all this time, Jungkook didn't dislike her scent. He liked it too much. I've smelled perfume from plenty of our classmates, but yours it's different. There's something calming, but also exciting about it, Jungkook admitted honestly. Jungkook, Yin was nervous, yet stunned. I know it's weird, and I know I have a bad reputation, but can I try to get closer to you? Yin stared into Jungkook's eyes, normally cold and unreadable, but now, there was warmth there, a sincerity she had never seen before. Why me? Yin asked softly. Everything felt too sudden. He had just kissed her in front of everyone, even their professor, and now Jungkook wanted to get close to her. Why me? Jungkook, she asked again. Because you're not afraid of me. Huh? I am afraid. Who said I'm not afraid of you? Wow, you're afraid? But it doesn't look like you are. Jungkook gave another small smile. And I liked how you stood up to Nara earlier, fierce, yet still elegant. Yin didn't know what to say. This was all too shocking. You don't have to answer now. I just wanted you to know how I feel, Jungkook said. And I'm sorry for kissing your cheek and neck without asking. Honestly, I still want to kiss you again, but… Stop. Yin immediately cut him off, her face burning. Hearing him say it out loud again was beyond embarrassing. Was this guy completely shameless, or just too straightforward? He was way too honest about everything. Jungkook just smiled. Alright then. Yin, you don't have to give me an answer yet, but I'm glad I finally told you how I feel. So, please think about it, okay? With that, Jungkook turned and walked away, leaving Yin frozen in place, still speechless. Since that incident, the campus atmosphere has changed drastically. Gossip about Jungkook and Yin spread quickly. Many girls were jealous that Yin had managed to make the cold bad boy melt. Yin herself was still confused about her feelings. On one hand, she was happy to know Jungkook didn't hate her, but on the other hand, his intimidating reputation made her hesitant. Yin, are you sure you want to get close to Jungkook? Mina asked as they ate lunch in the cafeteria. I don't know either, Mina. What kind of person is he really? People say he's rough and likes to fight, but he's nice to his friends. Minju and Jaehyun are pretty decent guys too, right? Yin nodded while poking at her food. She had noticed that Jungkook seemed different around his close friends, more relaxed, even laughing sometimes. But Yin, seriously, yesterday was so romantic, just like a drama scene. Mina squealed. Mina, Yin hit her friend's arm shyly. What? It's true. Just imagine, the scariest bad boy on campus suddenly turns soft like that. Kya. Yin chuckled. Thinking back, yesterday really did feel like a drama moment. Yin. The deep voice made both girls turn. Jungkook was standing beside their table with a lunch tray in hand. Mind if I join you? He asked, already holding his own food. Mina quickly nodded. Sure. Jungkook. He sat directly across from Yin and Mina. Yin immediately felt nervous, unable to meet his gaze. Eat up, Jungkook said, placing a bottle of orange juice in front of Yin. This is your favorite, right? Yin looked surprised. How do you know that? Observation, Jungkook replied briefly as he started eating. Mina's eyes sparkled as she looked between them. Jungkook, how long have you been paying attention to Yin? Mina, Yin warned. But Jungkook calmly answered, since freshman orientation. Mina and Yin shouted in unison. That day, you wore a white dress and a ponytail. I could smell your scent from where I was sitting, Jungkook explained without any embarrassment. Yin remembered that day clearly. She had sat in the front row while Jungkook was in the back. Since then, I started noticing things about you, your favorite spot in the library, even your go-to-lunch menu, Jungkook continued. Oh my god, are you a stalker? Mina laughed. Not a stalker, just interested. Jungkook glanced at Yin. But because of my bad reputation, I didn't dare approach you. I didn't want to make you uncomfortable. Yin felt her heart pounding faster. So Jungkook had been watching her all this time? Then why did you have the courage yesterday? Mina pressed curiously. Because I couldn't hold back any longer, especially when Yin sat on my lap. Jungkook trailed off, the tips of his ears turning red. Come on, finish the story, Mina urged. That's enough, Mina. Just eat. Yin cut her off, shoving food into her mouth nervously. Jungkook smiled at Yin's shy behavior. To him, this girl was utterly adorable. While Yin was starting to feel comfortable with Jungkook's presence, Nara was growing more and more annoyed. Her plan to make Jungkook angry at Yin had completely backfired. Instead, the two of them were getting closer. Nara, why do you look so sour all the time? Yuna asked as they shopped at the mall. It's because of that annoying Yin. Jungkook should have been mad at her, not. Nara fumed. Not falling in love? Yuna teased. Don't call it love. It's probably just some fleeting lust. But I saw him walking Yin to the library yesterday. And they had lunch together too. Nara's irritation only deepened. She'd had a crush on Jungkook since their first semester, but he'd always ignored her. He even yelled at her once when she tried to get close. There's definitely something fishy going on, Nara muttered. There's no way Jungkook would change that fast. So, what are you planning to do? I need to find Yin's weakness. There has to be something I can use. A smirk curled on Nara's lips. It was a quiet Saturday afternoon at Yin's house. This weekend felt even quieter than usual because her parents were away on a business trip abroad. To fight the boredom, Yin lounged on the living room sofa, completely absorbed in her favorite book. Sunlight streamed through the window, casting soft patterns across the carpet. Yin lifted her head. Who could that be on a weekend? A guest for my parents? But they're not home, she thought. Moving cautiously toward the door, she opened it, only to freeze in surprise. Jungkook, what are you doing here? Yin blurted out, eyes wide. Standing at the door was Jungkook, dressed in a hoodie and casual jeans, his expression calm as ever. Come take a drive with me, he said casually, lips curling into a faint smile that was hard to refuse. Huh, but I'm not ready yet. That's fine, I'll wait, Jungkook cut in smoothly. Yin hesitated, then nodded and stepped aside to let him in, asking the maid to bring Jungkook a glass of something to drink. The engine purred softly. The road that afternoon was quiet. The sky was bright, with only a few clouds drifting lazily overhead. Gentle music from the radio filled the silence, while Jungkook's distinct masculine scent lingered in the small cabin. Yin stole a glance at the driver beside her. Why did he suddenly show up like this? Her mind buzzed with questions. So, where are we going? Yin finally asked, breaking the quiet. Doesn't matter where, Jungkook replied casually without looking at her. What matters is that I'm with you. The tips of his ears turned red, though his face stayed carefully neutral. Yin couldn't help the small smile tugging at her lips. You really have a way of making things awkward, you know, she teased, rolling her eyes. It's only awkward because of you. Jungkook shot back quickly, making Yin fall silent for a beat. It's been 2 weeks since I told you how I feel, and I still don't have an answer. Our status is still hanging. Yin lowered her gaze, her heartbeat pounding. She knew exactly what he meant. His confession had been waiting all this time, unanswered. So Yin, Jungkook's voice softened, almost a whisper now. Is your heart still closed off, or has it opened up a little for me? Yin exhaled slowly, trying to steady her racing pulse. Jungkook, her voice trembled faintly. I accept you. For a moment, the cabin was wrapped in silence. Then a wide, genuine smile broke across Jungkook's face, a rare sight, his eyes glinting with warmth. Without a word, he steered the car to the side of a quiet road and brought it to a gentle stop. The engine hummed softly, the street around them almost empty, just a few leaves rustling in the gentle breeze. Music played quietly from the radio, filling the otherwise calm silence. Jungkook turned fully toward Yin, his gaze dark and unwavering. So, you really accept me? Jungkook asked again, his voice low, as if needing confirmation one last time. Yin nodded slowly, but this time her eyes were steady. Yes, Jungkook, yeah, we're officially dating now. A wide smile immediately spread across Jungkook's face, like a child just given the biggest gift in the world. Oh my, you have no idea how happy I am to hear that, he said, his voice slightly hoarse with emotion. Yin smiled back, her cheeks warming. I'm nervous too, you know. They sat in silence for a moment, just looking at each other. Jungkook took a deep breath, then leaned in slowly. Can I celebrate a little? He asked softly, almost a whisper. Yin blinked, a little nervous. Celebrate? What do you mean? Instead of answering, Jungkook just moved closer. Only an inch separated them. Yin could feel his warm breath on her cheek. He tilted his head, bringing his lips near her neck, inhaling her delicate scent deeply. Then, he pressed soft kisses to her neck. Jungkook, Yin flinched slightly, her face turning crimson. What are you? Jungkook let out a relieved sigh, as if he'd been holding his breath underwater for too long. I missed your scent so much. Yin covered her face with her hands, half embarrassed, half laughing. Jungkook, you're scary. You know that? Scary? What do you mean? Jungkook straightened, raising an eyebrow, genuinely puzzled. Yin bit her lip to suppress a smile. Being your girlfriend is kind of terrifying. Terrifying how? Jungkook asked playfully, feigning annoyance. Like having a vampire boyfriend who loves sniffing your neck, Yin giggled. Jungkook froze for a moment, pretending to be shocked. Oh, really? Do you want a real vampire boyfriend then? Yin blinked, confused. What do you? Before she could protest, Jungkook bent down and sucked on Yin's neck firmly. Yin tensed reflexively, then lightly swatted Jungkook's shoulder, her face flushed bright red. Jungkook, she exclaimed, half embarrassed, half irritated. Jungkook leaned back slightly, a mischievous smirk on his face, his eyes sparkling with satisfaction. That feels amazing. Too bad I can't leave my bite marks. That smooth neck of yours might get hurt. Yin buried her face in her hands more deeply, her laughter muffled. You're insane. Then her right hand shot up to the sun visor, flipping it down to catch her reflection in the small vanity mirror. Her eyes widened immediately, and she shot Jungkook a glare. No bite marks, but there's a kiss mark. You sucked so hard, Jungkook. She groaned, slightly annoyed at the visible mark on her neck. How was she supposed to get out of the car without concealer or foundation in her bag? Jungkook chuckled softly. Sorry, baby. I just got carried away. You made me say I'm a vampire. Yeah, but don't leave marks like this. I can't get out of the car looking like this. I don't even have any concealer or foundation with me. Hearing Yin's reason, Jungkook gave a slight smirk. So, you're only mad because you can't leave, huh? That means if I don't leave a mark, it's fine, right? He teased, staring at her face. Yin's face flushed, but she remained silent, trying to control her own feelings. A few seconds of silence passed, then Jungkook leaned in again. This time, his gaze shifted between Yin's eyes and her lips. Instantly, Yin felt nervous, her breathing quickened, and her body seemed to stiffen. She knew where Jungkook was looking, directly at her lips. His voice lowered, almost a whisper but heavy with intent. If I kiss your lips, it won't leave a mark. Yin stayed silent, trying to steady her racing heart. But Jungkook moved closer until their lips were only inches apart. Their eyes met briefly. Yin looked at him, showing no sign of refusal, only a mix of nervousness and curiosity. Jungkook smiled faintly, then slowly pressed his lips against hers. The kiss was gentle at first, soothing, as if to tell her that everything was okay. But as time passed, his head began to tilt slightly from side to side, and the kiss deepened. Unconsciously, Yin's hand rose, touching Jungkook's strong neck, feeling the warmth and firmness beneath her fingers. The car fell silent, only their breaths audible, yet the moment felt sweet and utterly captivating for both of them. A few minutes passed, and their kiss slowly ended. Their breaths were still heavy. Yin slowly opened her eyes and immediately met Jungkook's gaze, now smiling faintly at her. Jungkook leaned back in his seat, trying to steady his own breathing. The car was quiet for a moment, only the sound of their hearts pounding in their ears. After looking at Yin for a moment, Jungkook finally spoke in a soft voice. How about we go to the beach? Yin turned slightly, a little hesitant. The beach? You actually want to go to the beach? Jungkook shook his head gently, the faint smile still on his face. It doesn't matter where, as long as I'm with you. I just suggested the beach because it won't be too crowded there. So, the kiss mark on your neck, no one will see it, he said teasingly, but his tone was still warm. Yin's face immediately flushed red. Unconsciously, her hand went to her neck, feeling the mark from Jungkook's kiss. After a few seconds, she nodded slowly and smiled. Okay, agreed. Jungkook's smile widened, his heart feeling warm. He briefly took Yin's hand, holding it lightly, and said, I can't wait to spend time with you. Yin just smiled, and finally, Jungkook started driving the car again. The next day, they decided to go to campus together. Actually, Yin didn't want to trouble Jungkook, but he insisted that it wasn't a problem and offered to pick her up from her house. And when they arrived on campus, as expected, they immediately became the center of attention, walking together with Jungkook gently holding Yin's hand. Other students started whispering, watching them. The best visual couple in the Faculty of Economics, the brilliant, beautiful girl and the handsome bad boy. Jungkook, I need to go to the restroom first, Yin said before heading to her classroom. Okay, I'll wait here, Jungkook replied, finally releasing her hand. Yin walked toward the restroom, but halfway there, she ran into Nara, whose face looked irritated. Yin, we need to talk, Nara said coldly. What's wrong, Nara? You think you've already won, huh? Getting Jungkook. Yin sighed. Nara, I never considered this a competition. Oh please, don't be hypocritical. You must be so happy to steal the guy I like. Huh? What are you talking about? I didn't know you liked him. Besides, he liked me first. Bullshit. Nara got more emotional. You must have used dirty tricks. Maybe you gave him some weird medicine or… Nara, stop. Yin began to get annoyed too. What's your problem? I've never done anything bad to you. Because you're always better than me. Grades, looks, and now a guy. I hate you so much. If you weren't here, I'd be the smartest in class. Everyone would be paying attention to me. Nara screamed, growing angrier. Some other students began to gather, watching the commotion. Nara, calm down. Nara slapped Yin hard across the cheek. The girl staggered backward in shock. That's payback for stealing Jungkook from me, Nara yelled hysterically. Yin held her stinging cheek, staring at Nara in disbelief. She never expected Nara to slap her. What the hell did you just do? A booming voice made everyone fall silent. Jungkook stood not far away, his face burning with anger. The intimidating aura Yin had always feared reappeared, but this time, it wasn't directed at her. Jungkook, Nara immediately turned pale. Jungkook strode toward them with long steps, his hands clenched, jaw tight. Yin had never seen him this angry. "How dare you hurt Yin?" Jungkook said in a low, terrifying voice. I was just what? Just slapped my girlfriend out of jealousy?" Jungkook stepped closer, causing Nara to back away in fear. When he reached her, he grabbed her shirt collar roughly with one hand and squeezed it. His other hand was ready to strike, but Jungkook, stop. Yin panicked, pulling his hand back, afraid he might do something crazy. But Jungkook's gaze never left Nara, deadly serious. "If you ever hurt Yin again, I won't hesitate to hit you," he threatened, still gripping her collar tightly. "Jungkook, let go. This girl is a little crazy, but you don't need to go crazy too," Yin said firmly, forcing him to release one hand from Nara's shirt collar. Yin looked at Nara, who was now crying in fear. As soon as Yin managed to pull Jungkook's hand away, Nara ran off, sobbing. After Nara left, Jungkook immediately turned to check Yin's cheek, still red from the slap. "Does it hurt?" Jungkook asked, gently touching her cheek. "A little, but I'm okay. Sorry, I didn't come faster. If I had known she..." "Shh, it's not your fault," Yin reassured the still angry Jungkook. Jungkook pulled Yin into a tight embrace. "I won't let anyone hurt you again. That girl is completely crazy, Yin." Yin stifled a laugh but returned the hug. "Actually, you're crazier than she is." Jungkook shook his head in disbelief. "She's crazier than me." Yin stayed silent, not wanting to provoke any more incidents that could trigger Jungkook's temper. But a few seconds later, Jungkook released her, scanning the crowd as more students had gathered. He exhaled sharply. "What are you all watching, huh? Curious to see how I kiss my girlfriend? Let me show you right now." Yin's face immediately turned bright red. "Jungkook," she hissed sharply. "What?" Jungkook replied nonchalantly. Without another word, Yin quickly grabbed Jungkook's hand and pulled him away from the crowd. Her first day as Jiyeon, Jungkook's girlfriend, had already tested her patience. No wonder everyone said he was a bad boy. He was more than just that.